Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the top 100 games of all time for Lynn and I. We are down to our 20 to 11. This is the second to last part of this list. Now, I think it is your. Wait, is it? Hold on. I went first in the first one, right?
Yes.
Which means that the even number ones is you go first. So I think.
I think it's me.
No, it's me. It's
you.
me. And then you go first on the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes. I think it's me this time. I hope we got that right.
Okay.
But it should be even number. We should each have started the same number of times anyway. So
Ultimately, doesn't really matter.
yeah, ultimately it doesn't really matter. But okay, so we're just going to get right down to it. So my number 20 favorite game of all time. It's a game I've talked about a lot, and this is a game I love. This is a game that hasn't been mentioned yet. This is a game that we bring with us to play at the coffee house quite a bit, and that is Fox in the Forest. Fox in the Forest is a fantastic two-player trick-taking game with a bizarre scoring mechanic where you want to have more books, that is more tricks taken than your opponent, but you don't want to have too many, because if you get too many, suddenly you get 0 points and your opponent gets them all. This is a brilliant game with beautiful artwork, and all of the odd-numbered cards have special powers. And I love Fox in the Forest. This is a fantastic game. Any comment you want to make on that?
I will be commenting shortly.
So, what is your number 20 game?
My number 20 is Takanoku,
Ah.
where you are tending to bamboo and trying to keep pandas from eating your bamboo.
Sometimes you want them to eat it, though.
Sometimes you do. There's a couple different ways to get there's 3 different ways to get victory points or the cards.
The different types of cards.
Yeah. You can either have certain tiles in a certain configuration. You would have the panda eat a certain pieces of bamboo, or you can have certain colors of bamboo
At certain heights.
and certain heights. So
This looks so awesome on the table. I just want to show that to the camera.
It has stacking, so I know.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna probably.
I'll be talking about that shortly. I think we're going to have a few crossovers in this one section here, actually, which is going to be interesting. So, my number 19 game of all time is Century Golem Edition. It is a game where you do one action and one action only in your turn, and the rules are fairly easy. You start with a couple of cards in your hand, you can play a card, or there's a row of cards out that you can take the first one for free, or as you collect gems by playing cards, you can drop gems off on the various cards to take a later card. And then if someone picks up the cards earlier than that in that draw of cards, they will get the gems you left on them. If you take cards, you replenish them, and eventually you are trying to build up bunches of gems to use them to buy the golem cards, which are basically points cards. This game is so simple and yet so amazing. The artwork is gorgeous. The theme is fantastic. You already had it on your list. I love Century Golem Edition. I obviously like it more than you do, but we both love this game, and this is a game that since we bought it, which we didn't, we just bought it. It just came out last Gen Con, so it hasn't even been a year. And since buying it, we've played it a lot. And has anyone disliked this game?
I don't think so.
It's such a good game. It's a pure fun game.
Okay, so my number 19 is what we're on, right?
I think so.
Yes, 19 is
Yes.
Fox in the Forest.
Look at that.
It's a fun little card game that you can play at a coffee shop over a couple cups of coffee.
We
and
have
then
proven that. We have
just
proven that.
stick it in your purse or stick it in your pocket, and you're on your way.
It's a nice little box.
Yeah.
Very small footprint game. And very fun. Indeed. So, well, that was a quick description.
Well, because you
I
literally just talked
literally
about it.
just talked about it. It's true. All right, so now my number 18 is a game that hasn't been mentioned by Lynn yet and will not be mentioned by her. But it is a game that if you pay attention to my channel, you will know that I have a love for. It is also a game that has a new starter set, a new edition, if you will, coming out shortly. Though I expect the rules will not have changed because the rules have not changed in over 30 years, really, for the most part. But it doesn't matter because the game is freaking awesome. Super customizable, super fun, super in-depth. Takes more than 4 hours to play one game of it with only 4 pieces per side. But it's awesome and I don't care. I don't care because it is BattleTech. I have it side. I just made it worse. Nobody noticed that. BattleTech is one of my absolute favorite war strategy games. I love the mechs. I love playing this game. This game is so much fun. You move around on a hexagonal map. A normal size game is 4 mechs versus 4 mechs. But big mechs can take a lot of damage before they go down. So there's a lot of outmaneuvering your opponent, trying to get shots on those weak rear armor. A lot of it is trying to maximize your chances to hit before unloading and using up your ammo and overheating. This is a fantastic game. I really like BattleTech. But again, it is a longer game. So it is one you have to devote like half a day to. But I love it. BattleTech.
My number 18 is Onitama. It is a 2-player abstract strategy game with 2 different ways to win. There's a picture right there.
Yes.
You have a master, and then you have, it's like pupils?
Students, yeah.
Students.
Same difference.
And, I mean, either you get your master, and the master starts in a specific shaded square. So either you win by getting your master into the other master's spot.
Yes.
Or you can just, I think you just have to...
Or you can capture the master.
Capture the master. I wasn't sure if it was capture the master or capture everyone.
The thing that's most interesting about this is the shuffling up of the deck and dealing out of only 5 cards that you're going to use for that game. 2 start with your opponent, 2 start with you, 1 starts in the middle of the board. The cards show you
what... to the side of the board.
Yes. Sorry. The cards show you the move you can take with it. And you play a card, which then causes you to put that card in the middle on the side of the board and take the card that used to be there into your hand. So every time you play a card, you're basically giving it to your opponent.
Yes.
That's a great game. Excuse me. So my next one, my number 17 favorite game of all time is Arcadia Quest. This game has not been mentioned yet. But now, I'm not usually a big fan of like dungeon crawls, but this one is a competitive dungeon crawl. And it's fairly light on the RPG elements. The thing is, if I want to play an RPG, I'm going to play an RPG. So a lot of the other dungeon crawls I'm a little hit or miss with. This one I really like. I love the whole competitive dungeon crawl thing. You have your team of dungeon crawlers. I have my team of dungeon crawlers. And we're fighting, and we can even fight each other. But we're fighting to be the first one to achieve the goals of the particular map we're on and steal all the loot and steal all the treasure. But then there's also a campaign you play through where your guys actually do get more powerful as they go from all the loot they get. This game is tons of fun. And that is Arcadia Quest, which was my number 17.
My number 17 is Barren Park. Has already been mentioned. You are building a bear zoo. And you're trying to build your bear zoo the bestest and the fastest out of all the people that are playing.
Yes, indeed.
And all the different, like, Tetris type shapes.
It's very puzzly.
They have to fit on your little zoo squares.
And you have to fully fill up each square before you can move on to a new one. Very cool game. Very cool game. So my next one is my number 16 favorite game of all time. This is a game I really wish hit the table more often. And this is Mystic Vale. Now, this was already on Lynn's list. It feels like a deck building game. But each card, you start with a certain number of cards. And you never get more or less, actually, unlike other deck building games. Each card comes in a sleeve. And up to 2 clear plastic cards can be slipped in that sleeve as well, which take up because the starting card will take up 1/3 of the space. You can have up to 3 cards giving new abilities or disabilities to that card every time it gets played. And then in addition to that, in addition to altering the cards that you later will keep playing, there's also a press your luck element in this that is really awesome. And this is a really, really fantastic game with beautiful artwork that is just super fun. The only criticism I ever hear anyone say about this is the fact that there is not a huge amount of player interaction. But in my opinion, with this game, it doesn't really need to have that. I like it as is. And I absolutely, I more than like it. I absolutely love it because Mystic Vale is my number 16 favorite game of all time.
My number 16 is Cat Lady.
This was way lower on my list, but it was on my
list.
This was an ancient, long time ago. It
feels like forever, but it's been the same day.
For our filming, but not for them
Yeah,
watching. But
yeah.
yes, but it was a long time ago that was on my list.
So you have a 3x3 grid of cards, and you either take an entire row or an entire column, and then you place the cat at either the head of that row or column that you took, and then the next player cannot take from that same row or column, but they can take, a different row or column that intersects one of those cards, so you can't block them from taking all the cards, just... you can block them from taking all the cards, but not... You know what I mean?
Well, you can block them from taking that row or column.
Yes.
But they can take any other row or column. And there's a lot of set collecting in that, which is really good too.
You collect cats, and then at the end, you have to have enough... You have to have collected enough food to fully feed the cats, otherwise you don't get their points.
Very important, very important. So my number 15 is a game that you had mentioned, again, a very long time ago, and it is Fight for Olympus. Now, obviously I like this game quite a bit more than you do. It was much lower on your list, but you still really love this game because you had it on your top 100 games of all time list. This is a fantastic two-player game. It's like a two-player heads-up fighting game where you're fighting for control of 3 different areas. One that gives you extra cards, one that gives you points, which the points are weird. You don't have a set amount of points. The points literally swing on a pendulum back and forth between the 2 players. And the third area gets you tokens because normally you have to discard cards from your hand to pay for other cards, but the tokens can take the place of some of the cards, and they are different colors to represent the different possible colors of cards you could have discarded. This is a fantastic two-player heads-up game. I really like it a lot. We very positively reviewed this when we did a review of Fight for Olympus, and it is why it is my 15th favorite game of all time. I have played this game with you and with Alex on occasions where we've played like 3-4 times in a row. So that's how much I like this game.
My number 15 is Stuff and Nonsense.
Also from ages ago.
Yes.
That was way earlier in the list, yeah.
Where you are pretending to go on adventures and get priceless artifacts, but really you're just going to thrift shops around London.
This is a really good storytelling game.
And buying random junk.
I love
saying it's from China.
I love the story. I love the tall tale storytelling aspect.
Yes.
This is very fun, and mechanically, it's a really good game too. It's just very enjoyable. It's got like a set collecting aspect, and then
well, it's not quite set collecting because you can't have 2 of the same thing.
No, but you're collecting a set that you need to use to go on a specific adventure. Fake having gone on the fake adventure, yes, which is a really cool concept. It's very amusing. So my number 14 favorite game of all time. Also, now we've had some crossovers, but they're crossovers from a long time ago. Merchant of Venus. Now, this is a fantastic pickup and delivery game with just incredibly involved system for the pickup and delivery. Lots of different cards, lots of different commodities, a full economy and a full working economy in this game, which is really well done. I really enjoy this game. This is a game that this is another one that I really wish hit the table more often than it currently does. It's just kind of because we've had it a long time now. It's kind of fallen by the wayside because of a lot of newer games, but this is one that I really adore. And actually, now that we're doing this list, and I was thinking about how much I like this game, I think I'm going to be asking to play it a lot more in the near future because of how much I do love Merchant of Venus. And that is why, just loving the economy, loving the way you move around the board, loving the pickup and delivery element in this game, Merchant of Venus is my number 14 favorite game of all time.
My number 14 is Kodama. which has already been mentioned.
Yes.
You're building a tree and trying to get all your, what are they called?
I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
The flowers and clouds and stuff.
I'm not sure what they call them. We'll say pictures. You get they have there's fireflies, stars, inchworms, clouds, mushrooms.
Yeah, your little tree flare.
Tree flare?
Tree flare, yeah.
Tree flare.
Trying to get your branches.
You want to be the tree with the most flare?
Yeah, the tree with the most flare and the longest flare and the most flare.
Does it help you when you're working at your tree themed restaurant?
Maybe. I don't know.
You're such a flare bear.
What?
I don't know. It's a good game though. I do like that one a lot. I just think it was really funny that you started talking about it as tree flare.
Well, I couldn't think of the name. It's late and I'm tired.
It's been a lot. Okay, we're almost through these lists. So my number 13 favorite game of all time is Star Wars Armada. Now this thing is full of ships, so I'm not going to turn it up on its side. But Star Wars Armada is less of a board game and more of a miniatures game that you play, on a table or on a mat, where each of the players, it's really meant to be a heads-up game, a one-on-one, will control a fleet of ships, and you have to outmaneuver your opponent and get the best use of your weapons and your cards and combinations of cards, because some of your bigger ships will probably have multiple cards that work in concert together to be able to help you to get the most damage. And you want to destroy as much of your enemy's ships as possible without losing as many of your ships. And this is a game I know that will not appear on your list.
No. Well, I haven't played it, so.
But it's not your style of game at
No.
all. I mean, you didn't even want to play it. But I do like these styles of games. And this is a really good game. But it is also really expensive to get into. I have only been playing it for a little while, and I've already spent hundreds of dollars on it. Yeah, but that being said, Star Wars Armada is a great game. I've been really enjoying it. And you know what? I like the fleet I built for myself, so.
My number 13 is Lanterns. It's a tile laying game.
It is indeed.
That you have spoken of before.
Indeed, I did.
Where you're trying to, set collecting, you're trying to match the colored lanterns on the tiles that you need, because then you get those cards and then you can change them in.
For points.
4 points.
And it's that is a really, really fantastic tile line game. We've played that a lot, and it's always gone well. I mean, everyone in our gaming group always enjoys that. So my number 12 favorite game of all time is a game that Lynn just mentioned in this list, Takenoko. Now, she covered it pretty well. You're growing bamboo. You're trying to do different things to fulfill the objectives on your cards, whether that is try to grow the board in a way that will match a pattern on your cards, or try to get bamboo grown to the right height as it is represented on your cards, or try to have the panda eat certain amounts of bamboo that if he eats it on your turn, you get to put it in a special area of your board that later you can remove from that area to play the card. And all of these things get you points. And if you have the most points at the end of the game, you win. This game looks beautiful on the table. It's lighthearted and fun. I thought that the rules in the basic set were a little too simple, but then we got the expansion, and the expansion really revitalized this game for me and made me love it more, because there was a lot more to the expansion, more ways to get points. The second panda, the baby pandas, and I love Takenoko. And I recommend, if you've played Takenoko a few times, to definitely check out the expansion, because it is really, really that good.
Okay, my number 12 is Potion Explosion.
Oh, look at that. I was wondering if that was going to make your list.
Yeah.
This is really high on your list, too.
Well, it's like one of those matching video games.
It really is.
Real life.
What are those called? Candy Crush?
Yeah, those types of...
What's the fruit one?
I don't know.
The one you play with the fruit. You play it all the time.
It's like some kind of farm saga. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't even know the name.
But you guys know what we're talking about. It's like those various puzzle games that everyone has on their phone.
Yeah. And I mean, you get the marbles that you need to make the potions, and then you can use the potions to help you get more marbles or steal people's marbles.
That thing right there is the ingredient dispenser. It's actually in the box, and you actually take your ingredients from there, and it makes them click together. And if the same colors click together, you get those as well. And that's what's so awesome about that game. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
It is so fun. Okay. My number 11 favorite game of all time is a game that I'm almost certain is going to be in your top 10. I'm curious, but I think it will. I'm gonna hazard that guess right now. But my number 11 is Mysterium, and this may be the only co-op game on my list. And it's really high on my list too. But none of the other co-ops made my list. I'm not usually a big co-op fan, but this one, because of how there's the one player is the ghost, and their job is totally different from everybody else. And you don't know what they're thinking, and they're just trying to give you the hints with the cards to try to get you to guess what they're trying to tell you. I love how that works. I think this game is amazing, and this is my favorite co-op game of all time. Mysterium. Love this game. Beautiful artwork. It's like playing a game that is a work of art, and it's amazingly fun as well. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's like any negatives to this game in my personal opinion. I love Mysterium. How about you?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, so I'm hazarding to guess right now. It's gonna be in Lynn's top 10. We'll see.
Okay, so my number 11 is Straw. It's a little card game.
Tiny little card game.
Where you're trying to load up a camel. The camel can only hold 50 pounds of weight.
Yes.
And each card has an item on it and a weight. And there's, I think there's 3 cards that are different. Well, there's a magic carpet that has negative numbers, will take away weight. Mm-hmm. And then there's a reverse card and a copy card. So the reverse will reverse the order of play. Mm-hmm. And then the copy will just copy the last card played. And then everything else is, like spices, and they weigh 2 pounds or something.
I think it's 1 to 10 is the weights, right?
Yeah. And then there's a lamp too. There's 4 different because there's.
Oh, the lamps allow you to pick the weight.
Yeah, the lamp allows you to choose a weight. And you pile them up on the camel, and you say the current weight, and
if it goes over 50.
Yeah, if you're the one that makes it go over 50, you lose. So you
Basically.
Don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to unless you can do it with the straw. There's one special card in there. If someone gives it to you at exactly 50 and you play the straw, then you're the only one that wins for that round. Basically,
it doesn't happen very often.
It's hard. It's hard to do that. It is really hard to do that. So that is our 20 through 11 favorite games of all time. Now, there's only one part of this list remaining. It's the top 10. And the anticipation is killing me. I really want to know what's on her list for her top 10. I know 2 of them. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I know what 2 of them are. But I think I'm going to be surprised by some of the stuff that's in your top 10.
Okay.
Do you think I'm going to be surprised?
Maybe.
Huh. How many of mine do you think you know on my top 10?
At least 1.
At least 1?
2.
2. Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll have to see. All right. So, let us know in the comments down below what you thought of our choices for this section of the list. And if you've been enjoying these videos, be sure to give this video a like, share it on any forms of social media that you may have. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the board game Kaptain. That's Kaptain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.